Well, today I wanted to answer some of the questions like what to do when it is too cold to walk outside, or where do you stick your phone if you don't have any pockets, or what to do if the scale isn't budging. That is very common, and we will definitely talk about that coming up next. Hey, it's Dawn from The Minimal Mom, and it is freezing outside, but I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But thank you to everyone who watched the last video on installing a pedometer app on your phone and using that to reach our fitness goals for this year. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you to everyone who left their tips and suggestions and what has worked for them for losing weight. And also to those of you who shared your struggles. I hope you were able to read through some of the comments and realize that you are definitely not alone. So today I just want to answer a few questions that came up and offer a few more tips. Okay, so question number one, most popular question on both here on YouTube and on Instagram, which I would love if we kept in touch over there as well. You can find me here. But where to put your phone if you don't have pockets? I stuck it in my waistband. And so some of you said that you already have like Fitbits or activity trackers. So if you have that, that's great. I went at least a year and a half before I got a Fitbit, and then I forget what it was. It was an off-brand one, the cheapest one available on Amazon, and I used that for quite a while too. Some of you said that they have really cheap ones on Groupon, or you can usually find them used on like eBay or Craigslist fairly inexpensively as well. But you don't need it. I mean, if you don't have any budget for that, or if you want to reward yourself with it. I think that is so awesome. We don't really do that anymore, right? So, I mean, for over 2 years, I used either my phone or like this off-brand Fitbit, but I did recently reward myself with a smartwatch, which I love it so much. I don't like talking about things like this all the time because I don't want to be like, oh, go out and buy these things, but it's really awesome. But what felt good is that I feel like I earned it. And so what I like about it, it tracks my steps, but it also gives text and phone notifications, so I don't feel like I have to keep my phone on me all the time, which is really nice when I'm just around the house during the day. Or when I'm out in the garden, I think it's gonna work well for that too. So I will link to this down below if you've thought about something like that. But again, use it as a reward. Like if you're sticking with your step goal, then use it as a reward. Okay, the second question had to do what to do when the weather is junky outside. And so we live in Minnesota. It is 8 degrees outside today, and with the wind chill, it feels like 1 degree Fahrenheit. It is very cold outside. But I'm actually really thankful to Darcy Isabella. She talks a lot about walking and getting outside walking even when it's cold outside. And we bought a treadmill last year. So God bless Tom. It was for my birthday. He found a good deal on one on Craigslist, and he like muscled it down to our basement. It doesn't get used. If you have a treadmill that doesn't get used, I found now I really like walking outside even when it's cold out. Many of you mentioned that you're stay-at-home moms, you have young kids at home, or you homeschool, so you're home a lot. And I felt like a lot of those days, especially in the winter, you just start to feel really blah and yuck, and the last thing you want to do is work out then. But actually, by getting myself to go outside, telling myself even just go out for 5 minutes. If it's too cold, you can come back inside. There's something about the fresh air that is really rejuvenating, revitalizing, refreshing. It's like it would hit my face, and it's like, in a way, I felt alive. I felt like my senses were like, you know, picking up on all of it, and it was like really cold and, you know, sometimes even uncomfortable, but yet, like I was just like, oh, I feel alive. And so I would really encourage you, unless it is to a point where it is like dangerously cold outside. There's a C.S. Lewis quote, and I couldn't find it right now from it. It's from the book The Screw Tape Letters, but it's something to the effect that when we become separated from nature, that we actually begin to lose a part of ourselves. And so you can do with that what you want, but I do, at least for myself, find that when I can get out in nature, get some fresh air, especially for those of us who like live gardening or, you know, different things like that. Then when we have these winters with like nothing, right? Nothing living, there is still something about getting outside that is really good for the soul. So you're saying like every little bit counts instead of trying to get in like a 30-minute workout. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying, because 30-minute workouts are, I don't know if like who does 30-minute workouts anymore, right? And so yes, the whole like philosophy behind this is that every little bit counts, which is awesome for us as moms because like that's how our day is, right? Our day is a ton of little parts. And so we have to retrain our brain a little bit, right? Like if there's no parking spots up close, it's okay. I'm gonna park in the back because I'm getting steps in, or I can store my crock pot in the basement because I get steps in when I go downstairs to get it. Or just this morning, our 4-year-old forgot his hat upstairs. And so instead of sending him up to get it, which would have taken about 8 minutes and probably made us late for school, I ran upstairs and got it, and I got extra steps in. And so we are so trained to avoid discomfort, right? If it's cold outside, if we have to walk further than we think we should have to, our mind just tries to find the easiest path. It's natural and it happens. So it's retraining our brain to say, oh, that's okay if I have to walk a little further. Or, you know, maybe you're at a sports practice for your kids and you're walking back and forth. Tom, yesterday, oh, we were at the home improvement store just about ready to check out, and he forgot something in the back of the store. I said, hey, why don't I go get it? I'll get in extra steps. And so it's just retraining our brain to say, yes, every little bit counts. When I'm on the phone now, I am pacing. When I'm waiting for the microwave, I'm not endorsing microwaves, whatever. It's not about microwaves, but you know, I set something in my coffee to warm it up again for 30 seconds, and I can get in like a couple hundred steps. It's awesome. So yes, every little bit counts. Okay, so what if you did really great this past week sticking with your steps, but the scale has not budged? I would tell my personal training clients all the time, I'd be like, please don't get on the scale for at least 2 weeks, preferably 3 weeks, but like the best case scenario, 4 weeks. I don't know why it is. It's something about like our muscles retaining water when we start using them again, but I would say 9 out of 10 of us, we will not see the scale go down the first week. If anything, we might see it go up, and it usually takes at least 2 weeks for us to see any kind of improvement. And so I don't know, you know, how you are wired. For me, I'm all about how I feel and how my clothes fit. Like that's how I like to judge if I'm making progress with my fitness. Tom is the opposite. He is the one that's in there every single morning, stepping on the scale and then coming back out and grumbling because he hasn't lost any weight, and we've been working out, you know, so hard, and and he's been eating healthy, and he didn't have a Kit Kat yesterday, you know, and I try to tell him like, get off the scale. And so you probably will not see movement in the scale in the direction you want it to right away, but you are not alone. So if that is your experience, don't give up. You don't even have to change anything. Keep moving. Try and keep your food intake the same. Sometimes when we start working out, then we get hungrier, but try and keep it the same until your body adjusts to it. And truly 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see movement, and sometimes it's a big drop at first. But if you can, just go by how your clothes fit, because that method makes us feel way less crazy. Okay, and if it really is too cold out, some of you shared some different YouTube videos that look so fun. Like this one is a 15-minute 1-mile walk, and it looks silly at first, right? Like I pulled it up because one of you recommended it, thank you, and my 9-year-old comes up and she's like, what are they doing? And then she's like, oh, let's do it together. So we're like doing this walking, you know, video together, and it feels kind of silly, but if you're stuck inside, if you don't have a treadmill, you know, or if you just need a different kind of movement. But here's what else is kind of cool that I noticed about it, is that there's a bunch of other people in the video doing it, and I actually felt like I was at like a group fitness class, or like I was doing it with other people, which actually felt kind of good. So, you know, if you just get in a rut, you just want something different, or if it really is way too cold outside, check out some of the videos on YouTube. I will link to this one down below because I think it's really fun. It's all about finding what works for you. Okay, and then finally, some of you asked if we could just kind of do a check-in every week, and I think that's a great idea. So it's been about a week since we started the challenge. I don't know how it's gone for you, but I would love to hear about it. If you hit your goal, that's awesome, let's keep going. If you failed, that's okay, it's a new week. Even if you hit your goal like 2 times this week, it'll probably be better than last week. So don't give up. I know a lot of times we wait until we feel like doing stuff, but this is really about pushing past how we feel and just committing to something and sticking to it. So I know you can do this too. So make a goal for this coming week, share it with us down below, and next week we're gonna talk about getting water in, because many of you shared that too, that's been helpful to you for weight loss, is to drink more water. And so I have some really good tips of how you can get more water in a day. Like I can easily drink a gallon of water, and we will definitely talk about that next Thursday, and I look forward to hearing how it's been going for you.